Okay, let's try this again. All right, guys. I see we're having some problem with the connections. Let me know if you're watching. If you're watching, let me know. Like, put a comment or something. I need to know that you can hear my vocals. If you can hear my vocals, let me see you react to my vocals. Either like the... Okay, sounding clear. Thanks, Grace. Thanks, Jojo. Okay, this is good. Can I have 4 more people? Let me know that they can hear me. Okay, Facebook tells me I got 50. I see a couple of likes coming in. All right, Yokai says you are watching. I need to know if you can hear me. 1, 2, 3, testing. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, can we confirm vocals? Vocals, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, so Kudam Sasiwa says we can hear me. I guess we can go. I haven't made a live video in 2017. So this is going to be the first live video I make. And it's of a very important subject. There's a question I've always heard people asking all the time. In fact, I've asked this question myself, but I've never been quite able to answer it. Until recently, I did some applying of my own thought process and I finally figured out the answer. And the question is, what is wrong with Zimbabweans? Is the question I've constantly always had. What is wrong with us? Why is it that when Acie Lumumba says something, you've got a whole bunch of trolls, and it doesn't even matter who I am. I mean, it can be anybody. Why is it when if you go to Pastor E's page, you're going to find a page full of trolls, people who are so angry, so vile, so uncultured, attacking him? Why is it if you go on Morgan Tsvangirai's page? Personally, I don't like Morgan Tsvangirai, and I pray to God he never takes over the country. I don't like him. But why do I behave that way? Why do I have such a reaction to him about almost anything that he does? And why is it the same when you go to Maya Mujuru's page or you go to Noah Manyika's page? There is an automatic reaction that is in all of us, and it comes out anytime we see something either political or something that we don't like. And I wanted to understand, Zimbabweans, what is the problem with you? What is the problem with us? You know where you find traits that look like this? You know, I see if someone puts a post on their wall and they're doing well, the first notion that comes to our mind is, what can I say to denigrate them? What can I say to bring them down? It's a natural reaction we have within us. In fact, it's become our common natural reaction to bring each other down before we lift each other up. Anyway, you find Zimbabweans sitting in a group, they're talking about what was the other person doing wrong. You've got more men in Zimbabwe who are gossipers now than you have women. I almost feel like saying to the men, will you pull your dresses down? Why is that? Why have we become such a people? Now, let me tell you where you find characteristics like this. And it's only hitting me now. If you've ever come across, whether you're a guy, if you've ever come across a girl who's been in a broken relationship or who is broken, or you're a girl and if you've ever interacted with a guy who is broken, there is certain characteristics that come with broken people. Think about it. If you've ever dealt with a broken girl, if you've ever dealt with a broken guy, there are characteristics that come with broken people. Now, let me tell you what the characteristics of a broken person are. Number 1, a broken person is always in denial. They don't believe that they are broken. A broken person is always angry against anything that reminds them of that which broke them. If you deal with a broken person, one of the first clear traits you will find in a broken person is that a broken person sees anything that reminds them of where they used to be, and they feel like they've almost gone there. It's almost like our minds immediately take us back to that place. So here's what happens. I know there is people who come on my page and they will not even comment. They will not even like. They will not even interact or interface with the page, but they will go through the page every day. At some point, every single Zimbabwean has had an interaction with their leadership. At some point, we've had an interaction with our leadership, whether it was directly because we voted or whether the interaction came as a result of we didn't vote, and we still had to face the consequences from those who did vote. So our leadership broke us. And what happens is the first point, let me put this in a language that I think everybody's going to understand. I called the title of this message, Sex, Rape, and Politics. So you know what sex is? Sex is when any two people or any two plants or any two living beings come together, they agree that there's going to be a degree of intercourse. It doesn't have to be enjoyable. It doesn't really have to be mutually beneficial, but it has to be mutually agreed. So you have two parties, well, at the very minimum, two parties that is got to a point where they have decided they are going to interact. This is the relationship between us and our leadership. We interacted at some point with them, and it was mutual. We knew who was leading us, and that was okay. But what now happens is when the way sex moves to become rape is someone believes that because you were interacting, you want to continue interacting. So imagine a girl meets a guy, or a guy meets a girl, and they've had sex for the first time. They move from this first point of having sex to now a stage where the girl or the guy is now forcing it on the other person. And you no longer want it, and no matter how much you try to push it back and say, hold up, I don't want this anymore, they keep on pressing it on you and pressing it on you. This becomes rape. And that is the part that is very painful. It is the rape that is painful. So what Zimbabweans are going through now is a painful rape exercise, where at some point all of us agreed to interact with this leadership one way or the other, whether you agreed by default that you signed on for the sexual relationship or you were signed on your behalf because you're not the age of majority, but either way you signed up for it. And then what happened is you no longer want out, and now you can't get out. So the effects of rape is it begins to damage you. So we've all now become so damaged that anytime we see anything that looks like leadership, anytime we see anything that looks like politics, we must fight it. So we fight it without any real basis. We fight it without any real founding. If I listen to some of the things that are said about any of the political leaders, there is absolutely no founding on it. But you must attack it. And the reason you're attacking it is because it reminds you so much of the rape you came out of. Now, why I then put politics at the end of the title of the video is the moment you become passionate enough about anything, it becomes political. The moment you become so passionate about anything, it becomes political. So the only way you move out of this place where you are now being oppressed and we are now hating each other, there is no valid reason why we hate each other. I can tell you for a fact, I can talk about me. People sometimes wonder why I don't respond when people be throwing shade, but you throw shade because you see light. You throw shade because you see light. Sometimes you can't access the person who actually hurt you, so you see me, and I'm the closest thing you have to that which hurt you. I have never made one decision, even when I was in ZANU-PF, that affects your life. I've never made one decision that affects the price of bread. I've never made one decision that affects the price of water, that affects the bills. But what has happened is because you can't access the people who actually hurt you. You see me, you must fight me. We do this with all of our leaders. So if a preacher or if a prophet at your church hurts you, next time you see anything that looks like religion, you must attack it. But we have got to now figure out a more important question. We have got to now dig deeper to how do we move beyond this place? Do we remain in this place? Do we remain in an impasse where our syllogism is completely held tight by the notion that we can't progress as a people? We must continue to hate each other? Because there's got to be a way past this. Is there? You tell me. Is there a way past this? Am I crazy out here? Do I really, am I speaking out of the box? Or is this really where our problem is? That we are a hurt people. We display characteristics of an abused person. I have it. I have it. This is not just you. The reason why I went on stage on June 30th last year and I said fuck you to Robert Mugabe is because I was abused. And what happens is I'm looking at him and I'm like, yesterday I loved you, today I hate you. Today, I think the only way out is if you die. Death. I hear people saying, so maybe, how does Robert Mugabe go? I was at the place where I said, I'm happy to beat you at an election, but I'll be happy if you die. Because that was my reaction to the abuse I had felt. And then I realized, trying to go to other places, that I can't really interact with Changirai, because Changirai, you remind me too much of what I hate. You remind me too much of what I don't want. So no, Changirai, I can never vote for you. I want you out too. Forget my Mujuru. We all know there's no lights on and there's nobody in that house. But then I come to my generation. I come to you. And then I say to my generation, hey, so I want to tell you guys something. I'm coming from this place. I was broken. Can you help me heal? And you know what my generation says to me? No, you are everything we hate. Imagine that, right? So my generation says, you are everything we hate. You have got to get away from us. So I'm too new to belong in ZANU-PF. I'm too ZANU-PF to belong in the new guys, and I end up in this place where I belong no way. And this is these are the characteristics of a broken people. We are a broken people. That's my story. But I bet you have your story. Every time I travel, everywhere I go across in the world, I meet broken Zimbabweans who are ruthlessly angry with their government, ruthlessly angry with each other, ruthlessly angry with anything that looks like leadership. But we have got to go through the motions. And here is the motions where we are now. Motion number 1 is you have got to accept that you have a problem. Because even if you go on and you date another leader, even if you go into a new political party, even if you decide there is a new dispensation, you are bringing you with you. And you are the problem. Because it's not the party that's broken. It's not the leader that's broken. We are broken, Zimbabweans. We are damaged.
Let me know if you're checking in. I want to know.
And we have got to understand that we are damaged. So once we go through a process of acceptance that we are damaged, we can be helped. Because first we have to help ourselves. At an individual level, before you look at any leader, at an individual level, I have to say, Acie, my man, you are broken. You are broken, my bro. I'm broken. I'm broken, Zimbabwe, because at one point I put my trust in these people and they let me down. And maybe while they let me down, I let you down. I was in ZANU-PF for 2.5 years. I was in ZANU-PF less than a quarter of the amount of time Morgan Changirai was in the same ZANU-PF. But I understand Morgan Changirai. ZANU-PF broke him, he left. I got broken, I left. And you know what's happening is every time we all get broken, we run, but we run and we fight each other and we forget to fight them. Lately, the whole of social media is going crazy about, oh, Savior Kasukwere is in trouble. He's going to get fired from ZANU-PF. I don't give up. It doesn't matter what happens to him. It doesn't matter. It matters what happens to you and me. Because while we engage ourselves in their circus of singing elephants and dancing monkeys, we continue to die. We continue to live in foreign lands. It's become so Zimbabwean to hate each other, so Zimbabwean to let police abuse us without clemency. It's become so Zimbabwean. It's such a Zimbabwean trait to hate. Are you kidding me? We have hospitals now with no medication or penicillin, and we have no more laboratories figuring out how to solve world cures. We used to be the country that comes up with cures. So I want to ask you this, Zimbabweans. Number 1, can we admit, forget about me, can we admit that we actually do have a problem? And the problem is we are broken, I am broken, you are broken. Once we admit that, can we understand that me attacking you doesn't make me whole? Because a broken person reacts in 2 ways. They either become very self-narcissistic or they lower their self-esteem. They lower their self-esteem because they go and hide under the bed, or they become overly narcissistic because they think if I attack you, I feel better about myself. That's what broken people do. Anytime you hear anybody attacking anybody, it's because they're broken. Anytime you hear anybody attacking you, they're broken. Don't hate them, understand them, help them. So I'm digging deeper into this matter. And I'm saying we've got to first of all acknowledge that we have a problem. Once we've acknowledged we have a problem, we go to the next stage where we say we need to go through rehabilitation. The whole country needs to go through rehabilitation. In fact, the type of leader we need now is not so much a leader with smart political acumen or clever economic brains. We need a leader who understands how to deal with the psyche of a broken people. Otherwise, our kids are going to hate each other. We hate each other as black Zimbabweans more than we hate the white Zimbabwean. We hate black Zimbabweans more than we hate white Zimbabweans. We would rather be friends if you walk into a store and a white man says to you, hello, are you okay? You would rather befriend that white man than you would befriend a black person who says the same thing to you. We hate each other. And the only way we get past that, my fellow Zimbabweans, is let's acknowledge the problem. Let's acknowledge we need to go through rehab. And maybe, I don't have all the answers, but I know this. I need rehab. That's why I said I wasn't running for political office in the next election. I need rehab. Maybe let's now begin to walk each other through the process of rehab. So we can heal. So we can get better. It's crazy. We've become a country that makes a joke out of everything that hurts us. We've become a country that makes a joke about everything that attacks us. Every time we're attacked, we make a joke about it. It's cool to throw shade. Imagine that, right? So if you're out there, this is where I'm digging deeper today. We're broken. We are a broken people. And we are displaying the symptoms of a broken people. We are manifesting the symptoms of a broken people. I finally figured it out. Maybe you figured it out before me. But I think this is what we've got to do. We've got to begin healing. I want to heal. And maybe this is why we need God. Maybe this is why we need to pray. This is sometimes why I go on my knees and I say, God, if there's ever been a time I need you to prove to me that you're there, now would be a good time, because I'm broken. And if you don't heal me, I'm going to break others. Because broken people break people. Hurt people hurt people. I love you. I choose to love you. Have a good evening, Zimbabweans. Have a good weekend. Whatever you're doing out there. And remember, unless we help each other, we kill each other.